Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Malicious Compliance. In today's episode, so you are claiming I defrauded the company by booking an extra 3 minutes, no problem. Job Center, UK, wants me to log all my activity for looking for a job? No problem. Oh, I have to resubmit my application because I never got the notification to give you more info? Alright, but I'm making darn sure you received it. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. So you are claiming I defrauded the company by booking an extra 3 minutes, no problem. I worked for a water company for 25 years and was one of their most productive repair crews, that is until the new manager, let's call him Mr. Numbnuts, started. We had a monthly rota where you are on call for 1 week in 4, for emergency repairs out of hours. On the day in question, I started work at 7:30 a.m. on a Friday and finished work at 3:15 a.m. Saturday morning, so a pretty long-arsed shift. I get to work Tuesday morning and get called into the office by Mr. Numbnuts and informed that according to my vehicle tracker I'd left the yard at 3:12 a.m. and not 3:15 a.m., which is an attempt to defraud the company. As you can imagine, I was absolutely fuming at this level of bullshit. I told him that at the time I was covered in mud and sweat and just wanted to get home after completing a monster shift for the company, and was he genuinely making a shitstorm over 3 minutes? He said he was making me aware that I could be fired for it. Cue malicious compliance. I said that if we're going to be this petty, you can take me off the emergency contact list for extra coverage, and I won't be starting 20 minutes early each day either. I'll now be clocking in at exactly 7:30 a.m. and I shall be heading out at exactly 5:30 p.m. No deviation whatsoever, and you can explain to your bosses why productivity is down and you are struggling to get coverage for emergencies. We'll then see how important your 3 minutes are when they are costing the company money. Little did I realize at the time, but the guy's job was bonus related and linked to our productivity, which tanked after that because all the other gangs followed my lead, except the brown-nosed gangs obviously. 3 weeks go by with an absolute shit show in customer service complaints about their work not being carried out in a timely manner. My productivity dropped from 7 jobs per day down to 4. And Mr. Numbnuts gets called in by his bosses to try and explain WTF is going on. He tried to spin some BS story that I turned all the guys against him for no reason and that this was the result. Little did he know that I'd actually trained his boss when he first started with the company 15 years before and wanted to come out and find out what we do and experience how hard the job is. He surprised me by working a full month on the repair crews before going back to the office. Anyhow, the boss calls me in to find out what is really going on, so I explained how he'd used the tracker to monitor what time I'd left the yard and that I'd guesstimated my finish time and overestimated by 3 minutes because I was absolutely knackered after working a shift from hell on call. Conclusion: manager was let go for misuse of the tracking system, as it's only supposed to be used for emergencies and not monitoring, and we had our on-call system reviewed to cut the hours we were having to work. When will new managers learn not to screw with veteran employees? Probably never. It's very rare to find one that isn't on some kind of power trip when they first start, and saying that though his boss was actually one of those unicorns who looked at the bigger picture and made changes based on what the people doing the job were telling him. For example, they employed a bean counter to manage our store's procurement and the quality of everything dropped within a month. I explained to our boss that although the stuff was slightly cheaper, that it was going to cost more in the long run because we'd be buying it more often due to it breaking, so they switched it back to the original gear and made the procurement guy look for better deals, instead of buying shit equipment for us to use. I like that. His bosses actually sound like the kind of people that you want to run a company. How many times have we heard that if only my boss knew what was actually going on here? His bosses actually did, and gave you the respect that you deserved. Job Center, UK, wants me to log all my activity for looking for a job? No problem. Around 2019 I was made redundant. I did some MC at that job too, and I was on benefits. I would log what jobs I have applied for once a week. Usually it was applied for 10 jobs, worked on my CV, etc. but at the routine meeting at the job center. Advisor sigh. I've been told to tell you, your activity tracker needs to be more detailed. I know you are already doing this, but it needs to be more detailed, otherwise you're getting sanctioned. Sorry. So I said, okay, how detailed do you want it? Advisor, as detailed as you can. At this point I figured out how to do MC on this and said, okay, I'll make it as detailed as I can. Cue getting home and doing my usual stuff. Every 10 minutes I was on the portal writing about what I was doing in the previous 10 minutes to look for a job as detailed as I can, laughing face. A week later, and possibly many entries later, my advisor wrote to me on the portal. Please can you stop spamming the portal with updates? So I replied, I was only following what you instructed me to do to give you all as much detail as I can about how I was looking for a job. So I kept doing the entires every 10 minutes. At this point I was basically lying because doing an update every 10 minutes was taking up most of my job search time, lol. 10 entries later the advisor replied with, you just need to do one entry. Me, okay. So for the next week, once a day I was writing a 3,000-word essay about what I was doing to look for a job. I know this was stupid, but I was having too much fun annoying the job center. After them receiving 7x 3,000-word essays, they called me in and said I just need to tell them how many jobs I've applied for and a few words on what else I've done. Which was what I was doing beforehand. So I went back to how I was already operating and they never told me to do anything else or extra again, lol. I was on benefits once and all they wanted was job applied to and a status. Since most jobs were online, it was easy to copy and paste both the "we received your application" and the infamous "thanks but no thanks" messages. A couple weeks required a third entry, completed interview with Company X. Of course it was tripled, but only for the week, as we had to apply to 3 positions. You get acknowledgements? What's that like? I can count the number of places I've applied in the past and never heard from again. Here in Louisiana, we had to submit where we applied, the date, and contact info so unemployment could double-check. People complained bitterly about this, and there was a rather large spreadsheet going round listing places that were not hiring, but happy to accept applications. Because this was during the pandemic, and unless you were working in a hospital, you were probably unemployed. Failure to apply meant losing benefits, which were $247 a week maximum. I love this. It reminds me of when a boss tells you to start logging everything and then complains when productivity drops to around 5 to 10% of what it was before. And then you explain that most of the time is spent writing reports instead of doing the work. Oh, I have to resubmit my application because I never got the notification to give you more info? Alright, but I'm making darn sure you received it. So just to be clear, this is an ongoing issue/compliance, so no nice resolution just yet, but if folks want I can update when more happens. Also for clarity, I live in the US, so no universal healthcare and a lot of out-of-pocket medical expenses. So to start, over the past 12 months I've had to, on 3 separate occasions, had to get different medication tests done. First 2 were blood tests 4 months apart due to different concerns, and another for a non-blood test. What I didn't know was that there was significant out-of-pocket costs for each of these tests, like almost $300 each time, that I wasn't informed of until I got the bill. Well, being paid in a high cost of living city because of my career choice on top of student loan payments starting back up and a few unexpected expenses pop up, this was going to be hard to pay off. That's when I decided to apply for a financial assistance program through my insurance. Now you would think having such a program would be nice of my insurance, which sounds not even close to Rayizer temporary, and that's what I thought too. So I requested an application, filled it out and mailed it in back in June. Got a confirmation message on my insurance's app that they had gotten the application and to give them 21 business days to review it. I figured, okay, I can wait, and wait I did. And waited, and waited. Finally mid-August I figured I'd check up on the application. And after being bounced around in the phone triage, I finally got to someone in customer services at insurance that doesn't remotely sound like Pizer Temporary who could give me an answer. Their answer? Oh, we never got your proof of income as requested, so we closed out the application. What request? We sent out a letter asking you to submit proof of income, but since we never got a response, we closed out the application. Mind you, this is not a request listed in the initial application form, nor had I ever gotten a letter or email, call, or even smoke signal from them informing me that they needed this info. But I never got this letter. Well, we sent it out in July. But I never got it. Can you guys please resend me this letter and email it to me again and not close out my application? As soon as I get it, I'll send you the info, so I would know where to send it/attach it to the email? The representative agreed, and you would think I get the email and the letter. I submit my pay stubs, end of story. Well, you're wrong, because guess what email never came in? Checked and rechecked and was chronically refreshing my email inbox and my junk folder, no email came in. So a few days later, I called again. Guess who claimed, again, that they sent the email, which, once again, I never got. Guess who had to call 3 more times in order to get someone to submit the email while I was on the phone with them before I got the email. So I finally got the email, attached my pay stubs to the email, and sent it back. Surly, I'm done now? Nope. Within a week of doing this, I finally got the paper letter requesting the info. 1 day later, I got a paper letter saying because I never sent them my pay stubs, so they were closing out my application again. Well, as anyone at this point, saying I was frustrated and pissed would not cover it. Keep in mind, I still all this time having to make attempts to pay of my medical bills, and it's during this time that the 3rd test had to be done, so the bill grew even higher. I was told that this test was covered by my insurance. Clearly that was not true. So I call, again, to file a complaint this time and to see what the heck was going on. The Duckers claimed I never emailed them back with my pay stubs and I would have to reapply. I was even told at one point, in reference to my complaint, I don't know what you are asking me to do? After I clearly told them why I was upset at this point. So I have to at this point reapply? Okay, I'll reapply and make sure this time there is absolutely no way you can say you never got my application. I went and printed off a month's worth of pay stubs and printed off 10 copies each. Have to be sure I don't forget those again, right? I then printed off 10 applications. Filled them all out, including recalculating how much out-of-pocket medical expenses I'd had in the last 12 months. Oh, that test I had after I submitted my application the first time? Can't forget to add that. Oh, I had to refill my prescription and had a copay, better include that too. By the end, the amount listed was more than $200 more than what it was when I first did the application. Now to make sure they get it. Now that following Monday, I went into the post office and asked for 10 stamps and to send something via certified mail. Less than $12 to enact my compliance. Every day for that week, a letter, numbered on the envelope, an application went out. The same exact application, signed and dated for the same day, same numbers. The only thing different is the number on the back of the envelope, and that on Monday, I sent the first one via certified letter. Next Monday rolls around and not a peep from Pizer Temporary. Oh, let's make sure all 5 letters didn't lost in the mail. Another certified letter, 5 more envelopes and applications with all the same information ready to go. Today, I finally got a response via email. Thank you for your application, please allow us 30 days to review your request. Oh, but this is pretty close to what they said last time. I can't stop sending them in. How will I know for sure they got all the info they needed this time? That is, until they finally approve my application for financial help like they should have done back in July. If you were told your insurance would cover the tests, might be worth a call to your insurance company. I used to work in a medical facility, and the billing department would do this on behalf of the facility to have the claim be reconsidered and get a higher payment, but sometimes they would have the patients call the insurance if the insurance denied something. 9 times out of 10 the insurance approved it. I have already. They just said that doctors shouldn't be making claims about if something is covered or not and to set up a payment plan and or apply to their medical financial assistance program, which is what led to this saga in the first place. Every state has an insurance regulator, often the Department of Insurance or something equally bland. They live for this. Especially if you've kept notes. Call them. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.